Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. My name's Vincent. That's Jace. And we are going to talk to you today about the new Mute-On plugin that's going to be part of the Source-Nexus suite. Jace here is the product lead of Source-Nexus, and everything Source-Nexus is, what he does, his baby. So Jace, if you'd like, can you get started telling us about what's new?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Vincent. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining us today. So today we're announcing a new plugin from Source Elements, and this is going to be part of the Source-Nexus suite, and it's called Mute-On. And yeah, today we're going to show you some of the uses for it. Yeah, it's a really versatile plugin, so there's a lot of different things you can do with it. So we're only going to be able to touch on a few things, but yeah, to get started. Thank you, Vincent. Yeah. So this is my Pro Tools screen, and right now we're looking at the Mute On plugin. So here it is. And just to give you kind of a quick overview of what the plugin does and how it works and everything, basically it gives you a bunch of different options for your different playback states in the DAW. So right now my DAW is idle, so it's just sitting on stop, and I have it muted, and so it's muting the audio on the track that it's sitting on. So I actually have this on my Talkback track, and so I'm actually using this as a talkback switch right now. So for any of you that may be familiar with our Source Talkback plugin, the Mute On plugin can do everything that the Source Talkback plugin can do and a lot more. So the first thing that I wanted to show you is how to use it as a talkback switch. And so I have this set up already to do that. And basically, I have it set to mute my talkback mic in every playback state. So when we're stopped, when we're recording, and when we're playing back. And what I've done is I've assigned a key command to control it. And if you, for the on key section here, for the key command trigger, if you open up the drop down menu, you'll see at the bottom here, you can set any key command you want for the trigger. Right now I have it set to the backslash key. That's one of the few keys that Pro Tools doesn't already use for some other command. So when you're setting that, definitely be aware that you're not using a command that you might be already using in Pro Tools or somewhere else, because the plugin will take full control of that key command when you set it. But what that also means is that that key command will be active across the entire computer and the entire system. So you can be in another app and you can still use your talkback switch no matter what, it'll work. And let me show you here. I'm going to go ahead and hold down my backslash key, and there we go. And you'll see now the levels have turned green. And there's plugin output levels, and there's output levels on the talkback track, as well as I have an instance of Source-Nexus IO in the upper right corner there that's sending out, and you'll see my levels are active there. But as soon as I let go of the key, now I'm muted again. So this has turned my backslash key into my talkback switch. So yeah, this is very similar to how the Source Talkback plugin worked. And additionally, when you are using a talkback switch and you're listening over studio monitors, which is very typical, you'll want to dim your master output at the same time, just to avoid your microphone, your talkback mic, picking up the audio from your monitors. And to do that with Mute On, all you need to do is create another instance and put it on your master fader. So I'll go ahead and switch over to that. And we're going to set it up a little bit differently here. So first of all, for all the playback states, for on stop, on record, and on play, I have it set to do nothing because I just want it to pass the audio through normally so I can hear my master output still. So it's not doing anything to the audio in that case, but what I've done is for the on key trigger, I've set it to dim. And you can also set a custom dim amount. If you open up the drop-down menu and go to dim, there's several different options here that you can choose from. There's a global option, which if you select that, it will use the same dim amount across the board for any of the actions here in the plugin, and you can set the global dim amount in the settings here. So by default it's just on -15, but if you use the same dim amount all the time, you can set a value there, and then you don't have to set it every single time you want to set one of the actions to dim. So now you'll see I'm just going to simulate some audio coming through to my master fader. I just have a signal generator here, and I'll turn it on here for a second so you can see some levels. And so now I'm just going to hit my talkback switch, and now we're dimming the audio. Works just as expected. And so maybe 15 dB isn't enough for me, so I want to set it to -30. So I'll go ahead and switch that there. And now when I hit my talkback switch, now it's dimming by -30 dB. So it works exactly how you would expect it, and now I can barely hear that signal generator in my headphones, so that's a good thing. Let me go ahead and turn that off. Another quick thing you can do with the talkback switch, you can set it to work as an automatic talkback switch just by changing the on stop to unmute it. So what this will do is it'll leave the talkback open when the DAW is idle, but then as soon as you start playback or start recording, it'll automatically mute you. So if you do it this way, then you never even need to use a talkback switch. It just automatically mutes you when you're playing and recording. Similarly, if you wanted to do the automatic mode, you might want to dim the audio from the master fader while you're on stop, just in case there's any live input coming through while your talkback is open. But the beauty of the plugin is you can configure this exactly how you want it to work, and that's what we kind of like to look at the plugin as. It's kind of like a way to, like a programmable mute button that you can put on any track on your DAW, and it allows you and any of your clients or any talent that you're working with to hear exactly what you want to hear when you want to hear it, and that's really the beauty of the plugin. Now I also just wanted to go over real quick. You can also use the Mute-On plugin to, for example, if you have a client with a talkback and maybe you wanted to mute them while you're recording, just to prevent them from disrupting the talent, for example. You could very easily do that if you just go to your client's talkback channel, and you just want to put an instance of the Mute-On plugin there. And then here I have set it so that they're muted on record, so their talkback audio is just going to be muted anytime we're in record. And I set the on play to dim them by -10 dB. So I still want to be able to hear them in case they have some feedback or something during playback, but I don't want the audio to be too disruptive or to be to be louder than the playback, because we want to focus on listening to the playback when we're doing that. And again, you can set whatever dim value you want there. And if let me just simulate again some client talkback audio here. I'll just use a signal generator, and we can see their levels coming in. So we're idle right now, so we can hear them at full volume. But I'll just do playback, and now they're just a little bit quieter. And if I started recording, which I'll do here real quick, now they're just completely muted, and so we're not hearing any audio from them during the recording process. But as soon as I stop, now they're at full volume again. And the beauty of the plugin is once you just set it up the way you want it, you can just hide it, and it's doing all the work in the background, and you're just doing your recording session like you would normally, but all the different audio streams are behaving exactly how you want them to. So yeah. Vincent, do you want to show us some more advanced use cases that we can utilize the Mute-On plugin for?
Sure. So one of the things I have going on here is I'm using Mute-On for a low latency monitoring situation. I've got some guitar tracks up. This guitar track at the top is going to lead me into a verse that I haven't recorded yet, right? But the problem with when you're not using like an HDX system is that your hardware inherently has latency, right? Your DAW inherently has latency, so I can't monitor through the DAW if I want to feel like I'm just playing, right? So what I need to do is monitor through my hardware. But if you're monitoring through your hardware and the DAW, unless you're manually managing these mutes, you're going to get a doubling at a certain point, right? And that's just going to throw you off. So what I have going on here is this Mute-On plugin on play is going to unmute, allowing me to hear the audio that's already been recorded. And on record and stop, it's going to mute. And so what that's going to allow me to do is just hear just a steady stream of guitar and not have any latency, or not feel any latency. So one of the things you're going to notice is that the guitar that I'm playing right now is going to come straight down the center, and the guitar that's getting played back is going to come down the left side, right? So you hear this down the center. Okay. And of course, no track was record enabled. So, that was pretty seamless for me. Should have sounded seamless for you as well. But another thing you may have noticed there is that when the DAW transport was in play, you didn't hear the click at all. But when I rolled into record, you did. So the reason I did that is because I don't want to hear the click when I'm just playing back audio, right? But if I'm recording by myself specifically, or not to a rhythm track of any variety, I need something to keep me in line. So on this instance of Mute-On, on play and on stop, I have the click track muting automatically, and on record it unmutes. So that's really useful. It's an easy way to do just quick playback without actually having to manage all of your muting all the time, right? And so another thing we can do here is, if you are doing a remote session, very often the talent might want to hear what they just did. And usually to do that, you would have to create a playback track and drop the audio down into it, physically drag it, which is time consuming, can get messed up. We don't want to deal with that. So what we've done instead is I'm using the same low latency monitor setup that I did before, again with it unmuting on play and muting on record and stop. I'm then bussing this out to the input of Source Connect. And then on my master, I've got another instance of Mute-On. I am taking that sidechain input, and I'm using the output of the Source Connect aux, bringing that into the sidechain input. I'm dimming it on play by 15 dB because I still want to hear the talent when we're in play. I just don't want it to tower over anything else. And in record and on stop, it's going to unmute. So I can hear the talent all the time, but they don't have to hear themselves back in real time, causing an echo while we're in play or record. And with that, I think we've got one more thing. I've got this little fun thing that I wanted to show you all. Because this is so flexible, we are always able to, you're able to do a bunch of stuff with it. So you can do things, might be outside of the box, but I'm going to go back to this channel again. On record, I'm going to unmute. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a key command here. In my case, I'm using the Q key to mute that. And I'm picking up that bus on this little fun mute track. And I'm just going to make my own real-time tremolo. So maybe not the best performance, but it's something fun you can do, just like a whole bunch of other things. And with that, I guess we are ready for some questions.
All right, yes. So, we wanted to open it up to some Q&A from anybody. Do we have any questions from anybody yet?
Not yet. It doesn't look like we have any questions coming in at the moment.
Well, yeah,
but we have some other things to discuss, so that's okay.
Sure.
So if you have any questions, just let us know. We're here. We're going to answer them for you.
Yeah, so one thing I wanted to touch on, too, that I think we might have overlooked is the MIDI compatibility with the Mute-On plugin. So,
that's a good one. Actually, I have that set up here, so let me go back to my screen for a second.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
And if you want to explain it, Jace.
Sure. Well, just like the key command trigger, there's a MIDI trigger that you can program exactly the same way. And it works independently from the key command, so you would just first select the MIDI device that you want the MIDI input to come from. So it'll just see all the MIDI devices that you have on your system. And once you've selected it, then you want to go ahead and learn whatever key command you want. So you just press the key you want it to learn, and it learns it. And now you have a MIDI controlled trigger for the plugin.
Yeah, and what's great about that is that you can actually use that with different instances of Mute-On, which means that you can have different MIDI controllers or different MIDI notes or different MIDI information in general controlling different talkbacks.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I know this is a big thing in some facilities where they have a talkback mic and button for the client in the back. They have one for the client on the side, and they have one for the engineer up front at the desk. And so they want a MIDI controlled talkback on every channel.
Yeah, so that's one of the new features that Mute-On has that the Source Talkback plugin did not have. You can each instance of Mute-On can have its own independent key command and MIDI assignments. And so that means you can set up as many different instances of the plugin as you want and have them each triggered by a different key command or MIDI instance. And that enables you to essentially have a talkback switch assigned however you want it for everybody in the room that has a talkback mic, or also, remote clients as well.
Yeah, and the cool thing you can do with that too is that, like Jace was saying, you have remote clients, you have all of these people that you're managing. If you just wanted different notes or different MIDI information on different channels for you to control their talkback, right? You want to maybe while the talent's recording, you don't want the you don't want the talent to hear the client, but you want to hear the client. You can make those things happen
Hmm.
with the press of a button.
Yeah,
So it looks
or
like we
or
have a
automatically.
yeah, or automatically.
Yeah, yeah, that's the
Um,
beauty of it.
but you can have that like side conversation button, which is really cool. So we have a few questions here.
Cool.
Uh, Cylinder Sound is asking if there's any Mac OS or Pro Tools version requirements, or just, I guess, in general, any system requirements.
Yeah, so here, let me talk about the compatibility. So for macOS, it's supported on macOS 10.14 Mojave up to the latest version. So it's fully compatible with Sonoma, and it is Intel and Apple Silicon native. For Windows, we're supporting Windows 10 64-bit and Windows 11. And then as far as Pro Tools, it just needs to be Pro Tools 11 or newer. It's a 64-bit AAX plugin, so that just requires Pro Tools 11. And it works with virtually every VST and audio unit host as well. Again, 64-bit, but any VST or audio unit host that supports 64-bit plugins, it will likely work in.
Wonderful. Elliot is asking, they're basically saying that they have a client that's most likely going to be using Source-Nexus Free for mix revisions. Would be able to incorporate Mute-On into their setup. So, Jace, this is actually a good opportunity to show some of the other things that we have with the Source-Nexus suite, and why you might want to go, instead of just the Source-Nexus Free, why you might want to go with the Source-Nexus suite as a whole, and what that gives us. So, what I'm going to do is just show you how I'm doing some stuff, right? And so I'm using our plugin Source-Nexus Review, right? Actually, to broadcast out. I'm doing a couple of things on the side, but when I play my audio, you'll see that that's going out to the broadcast, right? And so that's actually what's making its way into this stream right now, based on the way I have this set up. What this does incorporate that makes life really easy is that this is one plugin that you would put on your master or mix bus that has a built-in talkback that automatically goes to the Source-Nexus gateway, which will have inputs for each one of the inputs and outputs for each one of these things, right? So we have the mix that's going out to the broadcast, the talkback that can go out to the Nexus chat, and the return from the chat that then comes out and inserts into your monitors, right? So, Jace, I don't have I'm using the browser for the stream right now. If you want to go ahead and show the Nexus gateway.
Yeah, sure. I have it open right now. Here, let me go ahead and bring it over here.
Perfect. And can you explain a little bit about what I just said?
Yeah, absolutely. So in here, I'll even do a quick little demo of how easy this is to set up. So with the Nexus Review plugin, it's designed to integrate with the Nexus Gateway perfectly. And what it ends up giving you, like Vincent was just explaining, it gives you a separate stream for your broadcast audio, so that's picking up your main output from your DAW. And then it gives you another stream for your talkback for the chat, and then it has the return stream from the chat for any guests you have in the live session. So if I go ahead and put an instance of Nexus Review here on my master fader, okay, and really all you need to do to set this up is set your talkback mic in the plugin. So you can either use a key input if you're using like an HDX or something, or you can just use any core audio device on the system. So it also allows you to use anything, even if it's not your playback engine in Pro Tools. You can use any audio device, any core audio device on the system. So I'm going to use my same microphone that I'm using here, and it's picking it up. And that's really all there is to it. And then we want to go to the gateway, so we'll go ahead and launch it. Oh, I already have it open though. And then if it notices that you have the Source-Nexus audio devices that work with Nexus Review and Nexus Gateway, it'll automatically select those for you, and then you just have to start the session, and it's working. So right now it's just let's see, the I don't have any playback audio here really to test it with, but yeah, it's picking up the levels from my microphone here in the broadcast at the top. So if I start broadcasting that, anyone that joins my session now will be able to hear the high quality stereo feed coming directly from my master output in Pro Tools. And the beauty of having that separated from the talkback audio that's going into the video chat is now I can utilize echo cancellation and noise suppression with my talkback audio, but it won't affect the audio coming from my main output in Pro Tools. So that's completely untouched by it. It's the full quality. You're not going to have to deal with any of those issues that you normally face when using any kind of virtual meeting room where it does audio processing. You can also turn that off for your chat if you wanted to. And it's all you have to do is click the HQ button to enable the high quality audio, and that just turns off the echo cancellation and the noise suppression and the auto gain. So then you're just getting the unprocessed signal in the chat as well. So you can use it in both of them. But the benefit of using it, of course, is you get a more intelligibility when you're just using it to communicate, and then you still get the full quality from the audio broadcast at the top. Now that's the audio broadcast is only in the subscription version of Source-Nexus Suite. So the free Source-Nexus Gateway doesn't have that feature, so that is one of the a good reason. And subscribing to Source-Nexus Suite gives you all the other tools to go along with it too. So you get the Source-Nexus IO plugin, which I have right here. You get the Source-Nexus Review plugin. You'll get the Source-Nexus Mute-On plugin very soon once that's released, and there's the Source-Nexus router application, which I'm running also right now. And the router application just it gives you a lot more flexibility with how you're routing your audio. Since it's running as an application outside of your DAW, you can set up all your audio streams and they'll stay active even when you inevitably have to quit Pro Tools for some reason, or you're switching between sessions. You can have the router running all your communications audio so that you're still able to communicate and hear each other and everything, even when you're switching sessions or if something goes wrong with Pro Tools. And there's tons you can do with the router as well. It has a full advanced routing mode where you can route any channel you want to any other channel you want, and I'll show you real quick what that looks like on this new route.
I have that open right now.
Oh yeah,
so I
because
can share
you're
that real
using
quick.
it right now too.
Yeah, I'm using it
Yeah.
right now, and I'm doing something that's kind of special.
Yeah,
with it.
let's see how you're using it.
So, in my case, remember earlier I said that you were hearing my guitar through the center, right? Well, it's only one channel, and so how do we get one channel to go to two channels to create a centered image, centered audio?
Mm.
I'm multing one singular channel and sending it down two channels. That's it. I mean, I'm able to just drag and drop things. I can take more things and bring it into that if I want. Right? So I can do anything I want there.
Yeah, again, just you get the full flexibility so that you can route any channel of audio wherever you want it to go. You can do two input channels to the same output channel. You can do like how you were doing, where you can do a single input channel to a stereo output channel, so that like in this case, so that you're able to easily route it. And then again, the beauty of that is this is running as an application outside of the DAW. So as soon as you close Pro Tools, all that audio is still actively being routed.
Exactly. Yeah, so all of these tools are super handy, not just in remote workflows, but in general. I use it for a bunch of things. One of the things I've used this for is like doing multiple mic setups to create IRs, right?
Mm.
I just want everything to go to one IR, but I'm using multiple mics and doing a bunch of things
Yeah, and
that
that's
way.
interesting because that's actually another potential use for the Mute-On plugin. It gives you an easy way to like A B between two mixes or two mics, even if you have two mics set up like that and you want to be able to easily and quickly A B them so you can hear one and then quickly switch to the other and then switch back and really get a feel for the difference in the sound quality.
Yeah,
You could assign so you could have the input to the plugin be mic 1, and then you could use mic 2 as your sidechain input, and then just set it so that, like, for example, like if you wanted to assign a key to that, you could assign one of them to mute when you have the key active, and the other to unmute. And then when you're on stop or in other playback states, you would just flip flop those so that when you hit your key, you're switching which input is live and going to the same output of the same track.
yeah. What's cool with that too is that if you've got, let's say you're in the middle of a mix, you can just audition different reference tracks, right? You can throw a reference track in there, and you have a push button that you can set to latch, and just with the push of a button, have a reference track coming in that you can compare your mix against. So you can do that with two different microphones to try things out. You can do that with anything, but that reference track is a great use for it.
Hmm.
Okay, we have some other questions, so I want to keep it moving a little.
Yeah, let's do some more questions.
All right, so give me a moment. Let me scroll up. Da, da, da. Okay, so someone asked, can the plugin be set up to automatically mute incoming signal on a specific track that is triggered by the incoming signal, not so much triggered by the record, play, and stop? So the answer to that's going to be no. That's really going to be a job for a gate or a ducking compressor or
Hmm.
something like that. You know, there are ways to do that, but that's not the job of this particular plugin.
Hmm. Yeah, that sounds like something you could, you know, use like the side chain feature on a gate or a compressor or something like that to achieve maybe.
Um, Dr. Orange asks if it works in Pro Tools Intro. I would assume yes. I mean, all it needs is key commands, audio, and a play and record state.
Yeah, and as long as it supports AAX plugins, I can't remember exactly
Pro
with
Tools
Pro
Intro
Tools
does.
Intro. Okay, yeah, yeah.
It
So
does.
then, yeah, as long as it allows third-party AAX plugins, then yes, yeah, it'll absolutely work.
Um, what else do we have? Oh, and when are we going to be releasing? I think we're looking at early next week, right?
Yep, exactly. So it's going to be out there very soon, early next week, most likely. So yeah, we'll be sending out a notification to all of our subscribers and everyone who's subscribed to our newsletter. So we'll notify you once it's available. But yeah, it should be early next week.
And remember, if you already have Source-Nexus Suite, um, it doesn't cost any extra for you. It's already included.
Exactly.
So
Yes,
it's
it's
just
it's
updating your software. That's
it's
all.
included with the full Nexus suite. So if you're a subscriber, then you get access to it immediately. All you have to do is download it, run the installer, and then you have the Mute-On plugin.
Um, well, that's interesting. Okay, so I just got a bit of information. The Pro Tools sidechain is only mono.
That's correct. Yeah.
So I guess you can't really audition different mixes unless they're both in mono. But you can do.
Yeah, that's a good point. But you could set up two instances of Mute-On to still do that. You would just need two tracks instead.
Yeah, they would
Um,
do the same thing. They
yeah,
they
exactly.
set up the same way.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's fair. And then John asked. John asked. What did he ask? John asked. Any other uses for the sidechain? I mean, there's plenty of uses for the sidechain. One of the first things I did, or one of the things I did, was show a use for the sidechain on my master to reinsert the audio, but after the send and receive for Source Connect, right? So I wasn't sending anything back to the talent. Just instead of creating more tracks and making anything more complicated, I just used the sidechain there. It was perfect for that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because like, so for that, for the one track remote playback, you could just set up a separate aux track to monitor the talent the whole time. You don't get the same kind of functionality in that case, but if you're not using the Mute-On plugin at all, but by using the Mute-On plugin sidechain on the master fader, then that's one less track in your session for one. Another use for the sidechain is you can have dual talkback mics in one plugin on one track. So let's say that you're an engineer and you have a client and you both have talkback mics. You could actually just use a single instance of Mute-On to control both talkback mics, and they can still have independent key command triggers or MIDI triggers to control them. So you and your client still have your own talkback mic that you can both control independently, but using a single instance of the Mute-On plugin on a single track. Again, it's the benefit you get from that is you have one track instead of two, and one instance of the plugin instead of two. So it just helps kind of clean things up a little bit if you utilize the sidechain input in those ways.
Yeah. And one last thing, and we don't seem to have any more questions coming in yet.
Okay.
Cylinder Sound did ask if there's going to be a price for Mute-On only. No, unfortunately not. The Nexus Suite is an all-inclusive product, right? So everything that gets released as part of the Nexus Suite is included for either the monthly subscription price, the yearly subscription price, the biannual, or the upgrade price. And so you get everything. With that said, the other thing I want to touch on is that because this is what I would call the spiritual successor to our older Talkback plugin, we are also offering loyalty pricing for people who have had Talkback in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be super, that's going to be super helpful for people who want this sort of functionality in modern operating systems and on modern computers. I mean, as we all know, computers are moving fast, right? Like it feels like we just released M1, where they just released M1, and now we're on M3. I think they announced recently, more recently, or is out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these things move fast, and the great thing about the Source-Nexus Suite is that it's getting constant updates.
Yeah, so that's one of the best parts about Source-Nexus Suite is it allows us to release updates frequently, adding new features and making sure it's fully compatible with all the latest operating systems and architectures and everything. So it allows us to support, everything moving forward, and as a whole, you get so much with the Source-Nexus Suite. I mean, so we have 3 different plugins now. There's the router, the control panel, and the Nexus Gateway as well. And all of these different components are going to continue to see updates and new features, and just continue to grow and really allow for the most seamless remote workflow operations, and for non-remote work as well. It's just there's so many different uses for everything, and they can all be used together or separately, and it's a great array of products together.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all we have time for today. Thank you,
Sounds
everyone,
good.
for joining us. It was a pleasure as always. And have a great day. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.